you neurodivergent and you forgot to pay a bill? Or maybe you don't think that you are neurodivergent and yet you still forgot to pay a bill. And in that case, I would say, maybe it's time that you get tested and accept what you don't want to accept. But I am here to neither judge you nor shame you, because guess what? I used to be just like you, and sometimes I'm still like that. When it comes to paying a bill, it is not just a simple task. Yes, let's take your cell phone bill for instance. Pay the cell phone bill. It is $112 this month. Below that is actually a bunch of sub-tasks. That means one, payday must have passed, so you have to have the money in your bank account. So that requires you to log into your bank account, make sure the paycheck is there. And then that requires you to then log into where you pay your bill, unless you have it set up on autopay. And if you had it set up on autopay, that still would have required you to log in and set up that autopay. You go into the account. You then have to click the button, pay the bill. Let me guess, sometimes it's off, and that requires you to look through the bill and be like, oh, I know. It is off by like $5. Now comes the task that can sometimes take the most weight. And that is going to be making sure that that money remains in the account to be paid while you do what you got to do all week. You feel what I'm saying? While you eat, while you grocery shop, while you buy gas, while you go out and you do your little brunch thing. That is called executive functioning. Hi, my name is Shani and I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor in Minnesota. I was diagnosed with ADHD roughly about 3 years ago. That means that I spent a good chunk of my life living it undiagnosed and unaware. And when I got diagnosed with ADHD, I really wanted to lock in on finding systems that really make my ADHD stand out as a strength versus feeling challenged by it. So whenever I'm feeling challenged by something in my ADHD diagnoses or just what shows up for me, I look at it as, let's solve the problem. My ADHD brain is really great at solving problems. What it is not good at is invisible tasks. We're going to talk about some of those invisible tasks later on in the video. Here's the thing about ADHD. It can make executive functioning, organizing, working memory, remembering to do things feel very daunting and challenging. Without further ado, I would love to share with you how I, as a neurodivergent woman, have set up my bill paying system. Let's talk about your bank accounts. That's really going to be the crux of all of this. That's really going to be the foundation. And that's really what's going to set you up for success. We grew up in a society that basically taught us two types of accounts, right? A checking account, that's where you get your paycheck, that's where you pay your bills, that's where everything kind of funnels out. And then maybe a savings account. A savings account is where you put aside money and it's only meant to be used for emergencies. That's nice, but let's be honest, with the neurodivergent brain, that doesn't really work. You see, there's a lot of things that are being misfired with us that we need cues and signs so that we know how to actually spend our money. For me, I have found a system where I have 4 bank accounts. Number one, I have a bank account where, yes, I get my paycheck. That is going to be sort of my fun kind of dumping ground money. Then I have a second bank account, which is just for bills. This bank account is at the same bank where I get my paycheck. It wasn't always that way. I used to keep my bill account separate from where I actually received my paycheck. And the reason for that is I really struggled with impulse shopping, and being able to transfer money right away just really was challenging for me. For someone that finds it very easy to transfer money between accounts, I would recommend that you have a checking account for your bills completely separate from where you get your income. And we are not attaching Zelle to that. No. We're not Venmoing it. We're not Cash Apping it. We're not Zelling it. Nada. You're going to get a debit card for that bank account, but you are not actually, you're not adding it to your Google Pay or Apple Pay. You're not adding it to your wallet. You're not adding it to your PayPal, your Amazon, absolutely nothing. That card is actually going to sit somewhere safely all by itself. And the only time that you will touch that card is if you get a new bill or you need to update. You feel me? The next account that I do have is a grocery account. Here's the thing. I'm a Taurus. So food to me is everything. However, I found that my brain cannot distinguish between groceries and going out to eat when it comes to budgeting. Separate grocery account, and it's on a Go prepaid card. And I bank with Navy Federal Credit Union, and I love that you can have several different Go prepaid cards. So the next type of account that I have is a savings account that is with Ally Bank. It is an online savings account. It takes 3 to 5 days to transfer money. I don't have Zelle. I don't have Venmo. I don't set up anything there. That account is only for taking. I pay all of my bills once a month. The task of trying to remember to pay bills when they are on time was really just something I needed to relieve my mind of. And so all of my bills in some capacity are set up on auto pay. Now, here's the thing. I completely understand where it's like, well, Shani, I don't know what's going to come out, like electricity, things like that. If you just moved into a place, that's understandable. But if you have been living in a place, I would say even like maybe 6 months or so, you can go back and take a look at your previous electricity bills to be able to gauge what that would look like. And even if you didn't live in the particular apartment or space that you were in, if you are in the same city and state to some capacity, you can still go back and look at what you have paid previously to get a sort of gauge of what it is that you use when it comes to electricity. Get paid bi-weekly, I get that. That means that you are going to be working with something differently. So that would mean maybe instead of once a month, you will pay your bills bi-weekly. So let's say if you schedule roughly 30 minutes every 2 weeks when you get paid, that is what we are going to do. We are scheduling this on payday. Do you feel me? This system works when you do it right away. And the cue is cha-ching, you got paid. Let's go ahead and pay some bills. This is not a task that we wait until after the weekend, after we done had a couple mimosas, because then you might have already spent the money and now we're just creating more work for ourselves. Now comes the fun part, my actual system that I have. We are looking at my payday system. This is what I use for it. I use Notion. I have one column that tells me the due date, and then I have another column that is the bills account. Bills account being what bill am I actually paying, and then the next column is going to be how much the bill is, and then the next column, and this is my favorite one, this tells me, do I have it set up on auto pay? Now, when I originally created this column, I had so many different things because I'm really a points girl. So I was paying some of my bills on credit cards. And to be honest with you, it was just a negative feedback loop because I just kept seeing my credit card balance go up versus going down. So I felt defeated. So that's why I really created the bills account. The next is going to be the status of that bill. I'm going to walk through it with you as if I'm actually paying my bills. So the first thing that I usually do is I change all of these in the status bar to need to be paid. After I change all of the statuses to need to be paid, there are some bills on here that are what I would refer to as changing. That I pay, they don't really shift too much. And really the big bulk of my bill is I pay the mortgage. And the reason why I did that, and this might be helpful for you if you are in some sort of partnership, is I didn't want to be handling the bills that change a lot, such as electricity, trash, things as that. So I delegated that to him and was like, hey, can you worry about this? If you do have bills that are ever changing, you are going to want to put a little icon next to it that sort of has like a link symbol so that you know that it is changing. That has a link symbol, you are going to go to that website. And here's the thing, you don't have to think about it because we have a column of the website. And if you have a number instead that you call, so for instance, my simplicity bill, which is basically my laser hair removal, they don't necessarily have where I can go on the website and change that. It is something that I have to do by calling a phone number. So you are going to call. All of the websites are right here for me. I don't need to go typing. I don't need to remember it. It is here. Again, this system is about simplicity. Setting it up is challenging. Once it's set up, we are golden. You are going to go ahead and check those accounts. So say it's your electricity bill. When you check your electricity bill, you're going to see how much it is. And then you are going to change that amount in the bill. At the bottom, I have the sum so that I know exactly how much it is I will be paying in bills that month. After you have checked all the ones that change, you now are going to start to pay them. So I will start at the top, and that will be my mortgage. I will go to that website. I then will transfer that total amount to the bill account, and it just sits there. All of the bills I round up. And here's what rounding up will do. So for instance, I have a bill that's $8. I'm going to round that up to 10. A bill that's $74, I'm going to round that up to 75. But here's what rounding up the bills is going to do. Each month, you are going to start to accumulate a little bit more. So it may help you feel less anxious when it comes to those bills being slightly over, because you're accumulating in that bills account, which is why I love rounding up. I also have my grocery account, or how much my groceries are every month, which is roughly $2.50. And I put this on here because the $2.50 is, I still transfer it because I have a grocery account. My dog food, I only pay that every like 2 or 3 months. And I put that on the side. I have a date when it's due, usually the 29th of the month. And so when I go through and do the bills, I will mark it as NA if it's not due that month. After I do that, I then change the needs to be paid to transfer to bills. In a couple weeks, what I will do is every now and then I do check my bank account, obviously just to see how much money. And if I'm checking my bank account for how much money, every now and then I will go into the bills account, just kind of check on it, take a little peep, how you doing? And if I see that things are coming out, I then change the status from transfer to bills to withdrawn. At the end of the day, it's not about being perfect with money. It's about decreasing the amount of decisions that my brain has to make about money. If you like this video and would like to know my credit card system, go ahead and tell me, how do you manage your money as a neurodivergent person? What are the things that you struggle with? And I hope that you found this video helpful. And I hope that I will see you in the next one. And thank you so much for being a part of my messy, beautiful neurodivergent life.